Hello everybody, this is Matt with mathsmath.com. Thanks for joining us here today as we talk about volume of prisms and cubes. We're in the Common Core Math standard of geometry, and we're going to be describing shapes today, especially by finding volume in real-world math problems as well. All right, our guiding question today is how can you use the area of the base to find the volume of a prism? In the past you may have learned that a rectangular prism is just length times width times height. Right, but we're going to describe that a little bit more today and go in more in depth. Maybe looking at different prisms like triangular prisms or trapezoidal prisms, unusually shaped prisms, right? Let's do it. Whoa! Scary shark. This is a picture of a shark that I took at an aquarium, and if you can imagine, a gigantic aquarium is none other than a prism. All right, if you think about it, it's a very long and wide prism that they fill up with water, and they put a whole bunch of these fish in and mammals and let them swim around. Pretty cool, huh? Well, let's talk about how much water you'd be able to put in these, and how much water fills up a prism like this as an aquarium is the volume. That's simply what volume is. How much water, how much space does it take up to put these scary creatures there? Pretty beautiful though, huh? Alright, so what goes inside the shape? Well, like I said earlier, in the past you've learned length times width times height, okay? But today we're going to learn a little bit more easier process to find the volume of a prism no matter what shape the base is, okay? So let's do that. And here it is. Volume, V, equals the area of the base times the height. That's it. Pretty simple, huh? If here is your prism, A is the area of the base here. Find the area, whether that's length times width, or whether it's half, if it's a triangle, half of the base times the height, or a trapezoid, add the bases times half the height. Okay, so whatever the shape of the base is, you take that, you find the area, and then you just multiply it by the height of the prism. Now, the height of the prism is the distance between the bases, okay? So other shapes like a rectangle have a height, and so does a triangle, they have a height. But the h we're here talking about here is the distance between the bases, okay? So here it is. Pretty simple, huh? No matter what shape the prism's base is, this is the formula we're going to use. It even works with cylinders. If you want to get a head start on that guy, it's pretty cool. All right. If this is your formula, why did we use volume equals length times width times height in the past? Have any idea? Well, if you think about it, the L and the W there together, that is the area of the base, the length times the width. That's how you find the rectangle area or this area of a square, right? So let's do that here. Let's actually think about not just doing length times width times height, but thinking about how do we find the area of the base first and then multiply by the height. This one will be pretty easy though because we've done so many of these in the past. I know it. Well, so this is our formula. Volume equals A, which is the area of the base, times the height. The base is 6 yards by 8 yards. It's this shape down here. It's this square. It's this rectangle down here. Okay, so the area of the base is 6 times 8, which is 48 square yards. Now we multiply it by 15. That's 720 cubic yards. Okay. Now units here are cubic yards. If you think about a cube, or yards cubed. Yards with a little 3 up there. Okay, so it's with area it's square yards. With volume it's cubic yards. Right? Let's find the volume of this little tent. Let's see how much air can actually fit inside a tent like this, okay? Now, I've given you some extra info here that you might not need, so be wary of that, okay? Now, what's the height of the triangle? Not the height of the prism. What's the height of the triangle? Well, it's the perpendicular here. It says 2 inches. The height of the prism is 4, okay? So make sure you have that distinction in your mind as you're going through this. Our formula is still the same. Except now what we're going to do is we're going to take the area of a triangle, which is multiply the base times the height and divide it by 2. And then you multiply it by the height of the prism. Notice that this h is the height of the triangle. This h is the height of the prism. All right, let's do it. You've got 5.5 is the base. 2 is the height, and we're going to multiply that by a half, and then we're going to multiply it by 4, which is the height of the prism, and it's 22 cubic inches, or inches cubed, inches with a little 3 up there in the exponent, okay? So isn't it nice just to have one basic formula? I really would stress just memorizing the simplest formulas you can and then using your common sense to figure out, well, what is the area of the base? Well, it's a triangle. Well, how do I find the area of a triangle? Okay, yeah, do that, all right? Once you find these, do these volumes on your own. All right, you have any trouble? Here I would recommend just, again, finding the area of the triangle first. 10 times 12, multiply that by a half, and then multiply by 16. This 15.6 meters is just there for extra information, just to test whether you know what you're supposed to be multiplying. Here are your answers. Notice how I put the 3 for the cubic. All right. Well, we have a mailbox here. It's in the shape of a prism. The area of the base is 52 square inches, and the height is 18 inches. What is the volume of the mailbox? Now, you might be wondering, how on earth do I take the volume, or the area of this shape right here? Well, you don't have to worry about it, because it's given to you in the problem. So this area right here is 52 inches, square inches, and the area in the back is 52 square inches. So all you're doing is taking 52, multiplying it by the height of the prism. Not too bad, huh? All right. Think about this. This is a challenging question. How many cubic feet are in a cubic yard? How many cubic feet are in a cubic yard? You might say 3, but that's incorrect. I would draw a cubic yard, and all that is just a square. Bam, bam. And it's 1 yard, which equals 3 feet, by 1 yard, which equals 3 feet, and 1 yard, which equals 3 feet. Now find the volume in feet. See what you get. It's different than just 3 times as big, huh? All right, here it is. All right, how'd you do? Not too bad, huh? All you gotta do is find the area of the base, multiply by the height, and bam, you're good to go. So can you answer this question? How can you use the area of the base to find the formula, or find the volume of a prism? I bet you can. Ah, shark again. Ah, it's pretty cool, huh? All right, well, guys, thanks for joining us here today as we talked about volume of prisms and cubes. This is Matt with mathsmath.com. Check us out on Facebook at Solving Maths Problems, and enjoy math.